Hey everyone, so I got something funny and also like awesome to share with you guys. So there was this Democratic think tank, right? A centrist think tank, right? So these are supposed to be like moderates that met in Virginia to try to figure out why they lost the 2024 election and what things they need to change. Okay, so they came up a whole bunch of interesting suggestions, which basically amounted to they need to be more like Republicans, okay, and they need to avoid the radical left, okay. They could have just gone to Trump and asked him for that advice, and I'm sure he would have been happy to give it to him. But anyway, they had this big thing in Virginia where they met, came up with all these solutions. But the one that is the most interesting, right, the most awesome, one of the suggestions that came up is that they need to go to places where normal Americans go, right? And one of those places was gun shows, right? And I'll put a screenshot of it because it was actually in the news. But you can also just, if you want to see the details, just do an internet search. Third Way, that's the name of this think tank. Third Way suggests Democrats visit gun shows. Okay, so you search that and you will see the details to this, which is like absolutely awesome for us, right? Because Democrats seem to be coming around to understanding, right, or at least starting to understand that gun culture is American culture, okay, and you cannot separate the two, okay. They can't just go to like these fishbowl cities that they are comfortable in and think that is America. That's not America, man. America is this, okay, out in the woods, man. That's America, you know. So it's really cool that they're starting to kind of like think outside the box and starting to understand that gun control is a losing is a losing issue. Okay, which is something that they knew 20 years ago. Okay, 30 years ago. They basically said that they were saying back then. The famous phrase like 30 years ago was that gun control is the third rail of politics. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what the third rail is, if you go to the cities where you have these trains, right, that run on electricity, right, there's three tracks, right. You got the two tracks where the wheels of the train run on, right, and then there's a third wheel off to the side where basically the train makes contact with the third rail. That's where it feeds the electricity from. So you touch the third rail, you get like immediately fried with like 10,000 volts of electricity. Okay, so that's what the third rail is. So that was a famous saying like 30 years ago that gun control is the third rail of politics. You touch that, you die. Okay, and it's something that somehow or other Democrats forgot, and I think the reason why they forgot is because of the Bloomberg money. Okay, so you got this guy that comes along, Michael Bloomberg, and he is like a rabid anti-gunner. And he just kept throwing money into anti-gun groups. And the anti-gun groups are basically just interested in collecting this money, right? So they're going to tell him whatever he wants to hear. The politicians want Bloomberg's money, right? So if if he wants to hear that they're going to push gun control, that's what they're going to push, right? If that's what he wants and they want his money, that's what Democrats are going to do. Okay? So I think that's the only reason why gun control has survived as long as it has in America, and it's actually been a catalyst for actually growing the gun community, right? Because every time the gun controllers came along and said that they were going to ban AR-15s, I went out and I bought more AR-15s. Okay, so that's the effect that gun control has had in America. So it's interesting that the Democrat centrists are coming around to understanding that they need to drop this gun control agenda and basically embrace gun rights, okay, which is fine. Now, initially, I understand that they are just doing it to try and win votes. They don't believe it, right? But okay, here's the thing: if they start going to gun shows on a regular basis, okay, they're going to start hearing things, right? They're going to start understanding things, and it's only a matter of time before they actually become gun owners, and you know that's going to spread. Okay, so ideally, the best place where I want us to be in the gun community is I want like Democrats and Republicans competing, right, to try to give us the most gun rights, okay, to try and protect our gun rights. That's ideally where we need to go, okay, because where we've been is like Democrats have been trying to take away our gun rights because they thought that was a winner for them, okay, and Republicans have been doing as little as possible, right, to basically just, they've been doing just enough to kind of keep us on their side, okay, but no real efforts to really get back our gun rights. But if the Democrats now start saying that, hey, you know what, we're no longer in favor of rabid gun control, that's going to push the Republicans to compete against them. So they're going to come out and they're going to be, no, we need to get back the gun rights that have already been lost, okay? So that's a winning strategy for us, to get the Democrats and Republicans to compete as far as who's going to provide us with the most gun rights. So that's really interesting how that kind of worked out. Again, you guys should look this up. The name of this centrist think tank is called Third Way, okay, and they met in Virginia, all right? So this is now, what, March? I don't know if it was at the end of February or beginning of March that they actually had the meeting. I would bet that it probably happened last week. So I would say March 2025. So look up March 2025, Third Way, Virginia, and gun shows, and it should pop up, and you should be able to read it. Really, really interesting how that's working out. So drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you all soon.